This is the pitch for my new music magazine. I decided to design my magazine as a pop magazine. This is because I like the idea of designing a magazine that will suit the younger audiences, and also because I myself enjoy a bit of pop music. During my research, I discovered there are only 3 major pop magazines at the moment on the market. These magazines are We Love Pop, Girl Talk, and Top of the Pops. Therefore I thought that the market for these pop magazines must be quite high, and although there are already 3 magazines on the market selling quite high sales, because the pop genre audience is so large, I thought that my magazine would also be very successful at the moment. I researched a lot about We Love Pop, as I've done a large textual analysis on this magazine, and I thought that the conventions used within this magazine were very effective. Therefore, this has influenced the production of my magazine, and I've used similar conventions and elements within my magazine to make sure that I reach the needs and expectations of the target audience. Taking specific conventions from We Love Pop and using these conventions in my magazine will hopefully make my magazine successful. I also took note on the target audience for these specific magazines, and the primary target audience are young teen girls from the age of 10 to 15. But I thought for my magazine there could be a secondary audience who could be for boys, and they could see like cover lines or articles within my magazine that interest them, and this could make them want to read my magazine, which spreads obviously the audience for a magazine, which hopefully reaches higher sales. We Love Pop use cover lines that the target audience can relate to, which I thought was a good idea, so I have also used that within my magazine. So I've used cover lines maybe to do with schooling for celebrities, and obviously that will be personal identity towards the audience, which will make them want to read on more. I think that due to We Love Pop being so successful, this has influenced my music magazine the most. I've noticed that in We Love Pop, they used a larger ratio of images to text. This is because the audience are so young that they wouldn't want to read as much. They use images to keep the target audience interested, and also use direct mode of address to make the magazine more personal, which means that the reader feels as if the magazine has been written for them, as the magazine refers to them as you. I've done a survey for my research on the audience views and opinions, as I believe they're vital in the making of my music magazine. This is because they're the ones buying the magazine, therefore they should be the ones who decide what goes in the magazine, how it will interest them, if they want to read it. I've taken into account that the font needs to be chosen, and I also done a survey in my research to ask the target audience what font they would prefer for the masthead, and I've used the font they voted on. I also asked the audience on the main feature of the magazine, the first issue, and they chose the article which they liked the most, which I've also used in the making of my music magazine. I want it to be a magazine that the audience want to buy over and over again, so therefore in my magazine I'm going to make sure that I use different articles and different celebrities, different posters, quizzes, images, galleries throughout my magazine to keep the target audience interested. I was going to do the magazine so it's a weekly magazine, but then I thought maybe once a fortnight or twice a month maybe, because this would mean that I can use different contents throughout my magazine each fortnight. Whereas if I'd done it weekly, there wouldn't be much variety in the contents of my magazine, as there isn't much new news to go in the magazine each week. It's going to be informal, and I'm going to use direct mode of address to give it more of a personal feeling for the target audience. Hopefully this will make the audience feel as if the magazine has been written for them, as I'm going to use words as you. So say for example I said, have you been in trouble at school recently, if it was an article about celebrity schooling. Also the colour scheme, I asked the audience to vote for on a survey. I gave them an option of 5 colour schemes, and they chose purple, blue and black, I think it was. I'm going to use colours throughout my magazine that is stereotypically liked by younger girls, as they're the main target audience. But also maybe use blues as well for boys if they do enjoy reading the magazine, or if they see something they like in the magazine, they pick it up. They know that it's not completely targeted at the girls. I also think that the pricing of the magazine is very, very important, as it is for a lower demographic, because they're younger children. The pricing has to be suitable, and the target audience have to be able to afford it. Therefore, I've done a survey asking them how much they would like to pay for the magazine, and surprisingly they didn't want to pay much, about £1 to £1.50. But obviously, because I want to include a large variety of contents in my magazine, I think that that wouldn't be enough money to be able to do that, so I've budgeted it higher. So the magazine is actually going to cost £2.69, which is still affordable for the younger target audiences, but it isn't to the extreme of maybe Q magazine, who charge about £5 for theirs, but that's because they're targeting at a higher demographic who can afford to pay that much. But obviously the target audience I'm aiming at will have to buy it out of their pocket money, so they'll only have a low amount of money to pay for the magazine. Overall, throughout the planning and the research of my magazine, I think that I have got enough evidence of asking the target audiences their opinions, because I do believe this is vital, and I do believe that I need to include that throughout the production of my magazine to make sure that I am using the contents that the target audience do want to read about. But overall, I do think my magazine will be successful, as I am using elements and conventions from other pop magazines that are also successful in the market at the moment. And I do think that there is a wide gap in the market at the moment for my magazine, due to the pop genre growing and becoming more of a variety of music, due to hip hop artists such as Nicki Minaj maybe coming into the pop music. Artists are just springing up, and I think that at the moment, because the like for the pop genre is so big and the audience for the pop genre is so big, my magazine will be successful and will have a good place on the market. So that's why I think that my magazine should be bought by the company, and it will be successful. Thank you for listening to my pitch.